All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. We have Brad Biehl. He is the host of More Than a Word podcast. Welcome on, Brad. And the first question I have for you is, what's your best piece of business advice?
My best piece of business advice, this sounds cliche. A lot of people say this nowadays, but truly work as hard as you can to find the one thing that makes you both happy and that you're good at. I'm a really strong believer that when you find something that you truly love to do and makes you happy, one of two things will happen. Either you'll be so good at it that someone in this world will pay you to do it, or you'll love it so much that money's not going to matter at all.
What's the number one thing you do to increase productivity?
Conversation. For me, I talk to as many people as I can, and with every conversation that I have, I learned something, which reminds me that there's always work to be done and more things to learn in this great society. So just talking to people.
And what's your favorite online business tool?
LinkedIn.
I love it. And what's your number one tip for increasing your physical health?
Find a trainer or a training partner that is also your best friend. Because this just makes all that hard work that you have to do to stay in physical shape, it just becomes relaxing and almost like a hangout. And I've done that, and it's completely changed the way I look at that.
And these might actually tie in together, but what's your number one tip for increasing your mental health?
So gratitude and positivity. For me, those two things go together in this. I'm just grateful for every single thing that happens in my life. There's always a way you can figure out how to be grateful for something. Every interaction that I have, being grateful for that time, for that person's energy, it just causes you to never have a bad day, because there's always a positive that can be taken away.
And in your opinion, what's the key to happiness?
So I only waste energy and time on things that I can control. By doing this, I literally eliminate anything that's not controlling my own destiny. When I control just what I can control, I'm in control of my life, and also just being grateful. Again, those two kind of go together in this one.
Perfect, yes. And what's your biggest regret and why?
So my biggest regret is kind of a theme of things. I don't have one specific time I can tell you right now, but for all the interactions or times that I've talked to someone and I haven't told them how much it's meant to me or the impact it's had, and for whatever reason I'm not close to that person, or it was just a one-time conversation, and now I feel like I don't have the ability to let them know how much their time meant to me.
I love that. And what's the best business book you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from it?
Yeah, so I'm actually reading the book right now. It just came out last week, Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah, it's awesome.
His new book, so I'm reading it right now. I'm loving every page of it. I'm a huge Gary Vee fan, so it's an awesome book. The biggest thing I've learned from it is something that Gary talks a lot about, and it really resonates with me being a young individual in this day and age. Like, growing up today with all of the innovation in, social and technology and accessibility is the luckiest thing to ever happen to a generation. And taking full advantage of that and truly appreciating what that means is something that is talked about in this book. It's a theme in this book, and it's crazy to me just to think that, like, any teenage kid, like myself, can start a podcast or a business from the palm of their hand anywhere in the world is insane.
I agree. And he's one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite quote and why?
So this quote is from my favorite quote. This has been for a few years, I would say. It's from a TV show that I watched a while back called One Tree Hill. And the quote it's pretty simple, but it's, whenever you're having a bad day, someone else out there is having a worse day. And for me, it goes back to the gratitude thing, which is huge for me. This makes you, when you think about the world like this, makes you grateful for every single moment. Because literally, if
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.